This is Don't Panic, episode number 363, recorded May 15th, 2023. Hello, everybody. Welcome to this episode of Don't Panic, the technology podcast on gadgets, the internet, and where would we be without you? I'm Sean Jennings, joined by two guys who will always crank open that window, Colby Rabideau and Dan Miller. Good evening, gentlemen. A joke for nobody.
You gotta crank it down, let the wind blow through your hair.
Turn it up and rip the knob off.
Yeah. Yeah, so we were talking before the show about Windows. Very exciting.
Not the
topic.
software.
Not the software, yeah.
That would make more sense.
Yeah, this is a change in the program over the last 10 years. And I have weird windows in this house. Most of the windows don't open in the old part of the house. The windows that do open, I haven't actually managed to open them because they are painted shut, but they have ropes. You can kind of, let's see if I move my head up. No, you can't see it. There are wheels inside here, and there's supposed to be ropes. I don't entirely understand how that's supposed to work. I haven't tried that. But on the new windows, there are retractable, unfurling screens that you pull down, and they latch, and that's great. On the back deck, there are, I know this term now, French doors. Two doors, they open out. And on the inside, there's a giant retractable screen that you pull across this way. And then inside the door frame, there's a very long magnet. And on the screen, there's a very long magnet. And then it goes flop, and it sticks together. Great. There's handles on both sides, so you can enter and exit and keep the screen closed. But the wind here always seems to go north to south, and that goes straight through our backyard. And this weekend, it wasn't even particularly windy. It was like gusts of 20 miles per hour. But with any wind of any strength, it would jiggle this thing just enough that it would loosen the magnets and then pop, and then it would like letting go of a tape measure, just boom, retract. And I have no idea how we haven't damaged the screen doing this so far. So now, whenever we go out, we have to tie a little ribbon on the door handle and the door jamb to keep it from completely unfurling and snapping back if the wind jostles it. How should I solve this problem? One thought I had was more magnets, stronger magnets. Is there such a thing as a stronger magnet? I think so, right? Magnets have varying strengths. I could get like a latch, like on a fence gate, and somehow drill it in. That would not look very nice. And then you would either lock yourself in or out, because I haven't told you about my garage door. My garage door is like a one-way valve. If you exit through the garage door, you can only enter back in through it. And if you enter through the garage door, no one else can go in behind you, because it latches that way on both sides. And otherwise, it just swings wide open. So it's not. So those are the ideas I thought of. What am I missing? The Don't Panic brain trust.
This retractable technology that's deployed, it seems, all over your house is pretty new to me.
It was new to me too. You see it in old houses though, because the windows aren't big enough to have screens. Like they're not deep enough.
Sure.
They don't have like the extra track or whatever.
Yeah, right. I mean, there are at least bigger magnets, right? Like I don't know if you can get a magnet of exactly the same size that is stronger than another one.
But I could just get one. I could get a rare earth magnet and just stick it in there.
Right, a super magnet. You could make it an electromagnet. Can you just like wrap wires around it or something? Connected to
Probably.
Oh no.
I would never want to turn it off though, because then I'd have the tape measure problem again.
Wow. That seems like quite a conundrum.
Yeah, I mean, it's a first world problem for sure. But on a 90-degree day, it is like a weird sort of torture, because you're like, I need to keep this giant window open.
Right.
But I can't walk out of the door because I've tied it from the other side so that it doesn't get destroyed by the wind. Yeah, it's unfortunate.
I guess maybe
or some way to lock and unlock it. Like that would be the other thing. Maybe I just need to like build a latch inside the door frame somehow. Now it's starting to sound scary though.
Sounds kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Maybe you could build something that like in the door frame that like flips down from the edges, but there's a handle on both sides, like it's on either side of the screen.
Yeah. Sean, you've been quiet. What has your brain been doing?
I've been a bad co-host. I haven't been listening. I've been figuring out how to buy one of these for my house. I'm sorry.
Oh, one of these giant screens?
Yeah, for my French doors, because I have a cat and I can leave my windows open and he won't escape, but I can't leave my doors open because he will escape. Right. And so I was trying to see A, how much they cost, and B, if I could install them myself. And the answer seems not crazy expensive, a little expensive, and probably not.
My understanding is that, well, I don't know. I bet they make some that are like entirely exterior to the frame.
Yeah, they are. You just kind of pop it in and attach it. I'd have to see how my frames are set up, but no, they do make them.
Another thing I saw, because not all of our windows have these, and a cheaper thing, so you can buy screen, like by the yard or whatever, and people make these frames. So you cut the screen to size. You frame it in this metal bit. On the other side of the metal bit is a magnet, and if your windows are metal, then you can just attach it to the inside or the outside, I guess, but it would be the inside in my case, and then into the screen. But I just posted a picture of our solution.
It's helpful. So is the concern, again, I was not listening, is the concern that so the door is opening?
Yeah, the wind is blowing across it, I think, and just enough to jostle the magnet loose, and then it retracts like a tape measure.
Huh. Yeah, you got to get some kind of, I don't know if you have enough of an edge. Do you lock it? If you could lock it, would you do it from the inside or the outside? I guess both.
You would have to do both, ideally, because you'd neither want it to fling open while you're inside, nor would you want it to fling open while you're outside.
Yeah, because I was going to say even like a little metal like latch hook or something, but I don't know if you have enough room to attach it.
Yeah, I would on the inside for sure. Maybe I need to make a little robot thing that like comes down and a HomeKit attaches itself. HomeKit latch.
They do make little motors that connect to the internet and you can do stuff with. So that is an option. Now you're thinking.
Yeah. This is kind of related. There's all of this archaeology that happens, at least in an old house, where you're like, what the hell is this for? Like Colby's giant metal rod in that old apartment. Like, why is this here? And so another problem that was happening, I've since solved this issue, though, was because French doors open like this, but then the wind is blowing across them, the door on the left would always slam shut. So, get a door stop or whatever. But then yesterday when I was opening the door and jamming a rug underneath it so it wouldn't close, I was down on my knees looking at the deck and I was like, why is there a hole in the middle of this plank? It's like, oh shit, I bet they had like a rod they could drop in here that would keep the door open because it isn't exactly the right spot. Never would have noticed that. Hadn't noticed it until then. Yeah.
Nice.
Let's see. Oh, I have the EV charger. Did we talk? No, that was last week, right?
Yeah, we talked about it.
Have the E charger and have Ethernet. Ethernet was the most exciting thing, I think.
Wow.
Because mostly they just ran it outside of the house and then drilled a hole. But in the basements, you can't just drill a hole through the ground. At least that's even more expensive. So you have to drill a hole up high and somehow get it down. And do you know how they do this? Like there's a wire here. I want to get it down the wall. How do you achieve this if you're an experienced electrician with minimal damage? Because the easiest way to do it is you just cut the entire wall open and run it and then seal it back up. Or I don't know if that's the easiest. The most foolproof way. The way that guarantees success. They had this very heavy but thin metal chain. So they cut a little hole in the wall and they drop the chain down, and then they cut another little hole in the wall and they pray to God that the chain is where you think it is. And if it is, then you can just pull the chain, and run the thing along the chain, which was ingenious to me. I was like, how the hell are they going to do this? It was so simple.
That's smart. And what happens? Did they encounter a situation where the chain wasn't where they expected it to be?
They did not, but they did find a piece of tape. They were very excited. They're like, oh my God. And it was a piece of tape with a phone number on it. And then I asked my next door neighbor, and it was the old owner's phone number. Wow. So in the wall, probably the phone company had like labeled their wire like 30 years ago or something from the street or something like that. And it was just in the wall. Yeah. Wow. Sean, are you producing
I'm getting a prop?
A prop. Whoa.
Didn't mean to do that. No, this is actually a wire feeding kit I had to buy to feed some wires.
Ooh.
And it's these stiff rods connect, and one end has a little hook on it.
Yeah, nice. That is what they used for going straight through a wall. They used something like that. They called it, I forget what they called it. They had a special name for it. An anchor, a probe, a spike. I think they called it a spike.
I like probe.
I think what they were doing is they had a super strong magnet on one side, and then they had this thing, and they would stick it through, and they're like, okay, that is where that is. And then they could drill the hole.
Yeah, there's another version of these you can get to where it is a magnet on a string, and then you take the other side you get it in the wall, then you use the other magnet on the other side of the drywall to drag it up.
I was wondering why they don't do that. Like, what's that game?
Those exist.
Like doctor's office game. Where you have to like go through the maze with the magnet. Am I losing my mind?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Same thing.
Yeah.
That's smart.
But anyways, it's very. If I did have a pick this week, which I'm pretty sure I don't, I might just pick having Ethernet because it has solved all of my internet problems. But it came in on time and under budget. I'm 2 for 2 and on time under budget. I guess 3 for 3 actually.
Wow, so you got some good guys.
Well, no, the roof only came in under budget because he gave me a discount because he accidentally he damaged the interior on the skylights. So we got him to take $500 off. But, nothing to hammer and some drywall putty, something can't fix, but we still haven't done it. So just holes in our ceiling right now. Anyways, that's my home improvement update. No more home improvement updates for at least a year. Hold me to it. Nothing.
Listen, Dan, it's out of your control. That's the thing you don't realize. You can say you're not going to do it. It will happen.
I will not volunteer. No more voluntary changes. Yeah.
That's smart. I called off. I think I had talked on the show about my landscaping plans for this year, and I've voluntarily called them off. So,
that's big of you.
Not doing it this year. Well, I still have a bunch of other stuff I'm going to spend my money on in this house, but it just won't be that, unfortunately. It's going to be one of these retractable screen doors.
Ooh, yeah. It is. It's way nicer than. I don't understand why people in Seattle do this, but it's way nicer than just having your doors wide open. Especially, well, I was going to say, Sean, I don't know, like how your cat seems pretty crazy. No offense, but and I've only met your cat, I think, over video. But based on the fact that your cat climbs on your shoulders during the show, I don't think these screen doors are the most. So here's the thing. They have these tracks on the bottom, right? The screen is not secured into that track. It's just resting in there. Then there's like brushes on either side so the bugs can't get in. If you like push on it, the whole thing will just like cave out.
he's afraid of doors. Like, he's been trained at some point to, like, he'll go up to windows with screens, but like if I left the door for like an hour, he'd probably get curious, but if it's left open for like 10 minutes, he won't go near it. So he's not in a rush to get out.
That's good.
So thankfully he's got that trained into him, but he doesn't, he loves to just sit by the door and watch.
Is he a curtain climber?
No, he's actually very mild. I will tell you, what he loves is like touching me and being on me. He's not like crazy high energy, he just is clingy. So you kind of get a misleading opinion of him on this.
Impression? Yeah. I apologize. I retract my statement.
No, if anything, he's lazy.
Well, all cats are lazy.
No, he's relatively lazy, that's for sure.
Especially lazy.
He's a big orange buffoon.
Charles. Wow. So I don't remember if we talked about the first of these, but I've had 2 technological failures in the recent past. Did we talk about what happened to my phone when we went to Puerto Rico?
No.
So we were on vacation, like beach vacation, whatever. And nothing to do, so like I wasn't paying attention to my phone. One night my phone was completely dead, so I just as we were going to bed, I plugged it in. Didn't think about it. I plugged it in. We went to bed. Got up in the morning and like it was still dead for some reason. I was like, oh, that's weird. So I put it on the other charger. And like we went and like got breakfast or something. Came back, still dead. Super weird. Or actually, it had charged a tiny bit, and then there was a message on the screen that said, "There's water in your charging port. It can't charge right now." And so I looked. At this point, like Laura tried to put her phone on the charger, and it got the same message: "There's water in your lightning port. Can't charge the phone right now." And I looked at my other charger, and it's all like was all corroded, and like the one I had left it on overnight it was all corroded and weird. So the short story is I fried the charging port, the lightning port on my iPhone, and destroyed a charger. But so I can only charge my phone right now wirelessly, which is annoying. But I learned today that Apple now, if you have the Apple Care, they will just send you a new phone. Like they'll send you a replacement phone for $100 and you send back your other phone. No questions asked. The trade is that they put like a $1,200 hold on your on your credit card. I guess in case you don't send the phone back, but also in case the phone you send them is so destroyed that it's clearly not
to be salvaged
by your plan. Yes. So that was that's something I initiated today, which was fun.
Exciting.
How
did it become destroyed? Did I miss that part?
There must have been water, like some liquid in the lightning port.
Were you imbibing some Mai Tais in a pool and checking your Blue Sky account?
I mean, I was definitely around a pool. I wasn't checking my Blue Sky account, but like, it seems plausible that there was water in the charging port. And I think because my phone was completely dead, it didn't do the like safety check, like, is there water in this thing, and just tried to charge and
boom,
fried stuff. So second technological failure. This weekend we got, it's Mother's Day, so we're going to Rhode Island. So we like loaded up the car, get in the car, like sit in traffic to get on the highway, go like 2 exits, and all of a sudden like there's this weird car noise, and it's like, whose car is making that sound? And it's like, is that our car? And then so I realized that as I press the gas, the engine is revving super high and the car is not going any faster. So at this moment, we realize we are like sort of slowly rolling to a stop in the middle of the Mass Pike in a section where there are no shoulders, which was super, super fun. So we did manage to like limp at like 5 miles an hour to the next shoulder, pull over where the car proceeds to like spew red liquid. Which I learned
that's
from,
bad.
Yeah, I learned from the internet is transmission fluid. And then we called the tow truck, and the tow truck came and took us to the tow truck building. And that's where my car is. So we're back to the train lifestyle. We took an Uber home 20 minutes and then just got on the train and went to our
I'm pretty sure we specifically bragged last week how
right.
the three of us were now car owners for the first time. I'm so sorry, Colby. Didn't mean to do that to you.
Yeah. I haven't. So the place hasn't called yet to inform me of the damage. So I'm still holding out hope that it was like just a hose and not like the whole thing. Because that happened to at Marith. That happened to.
I was going to say this is a little bit deja vu.
Yeah. That was much less dramatic because I discovered the problem in the parking lot at Gartland. And not.
I mean, one thing that was dramatic is when you stepped on the little ledge to get up into the car, flecks of rust would pop off each time.
Well, yeah. You can see through the floor.
Colby likes to drive antique vehicles. So.
Right. Classic cars.
Yeah.
I saw a car here the other week. I don't know how this is legal, where like it was an old car. But then the license plate was super old. And I was like, oh, maybe this is just like the front license plate. I don't know. Is Washington like, a place you only need to have a back license plate? I don't know. Back license plate, same thing. It was a 1970s license plate, which I did not think was legal. It's just street parked. Super weird. Anyways, continue.
That's mostly it. I might
now,
not have a car anymore.
My experience with gas cars is that sometimes something breaks and it's like, oh, you just need to replace the doodad. Sometimes the thing breaks, it's like, we just need to replace the doodad, but that thing is underneath all the other doodads, so you might as well have just like replaced your entire engine compartments.
Right. I've been trying to, in this interim period where I'm waiting for them to call and tell me what the damage is, I've been trying to like decide what
the amount.
What the amount is where it's appropriate to say, shrug, like take it to the junkyard. Like, I don't know.
I mean, you got such a great deal on the vehicle.
Right. It was a $0 car. So, I'm not.
Oh, right. I totally forgot about that.
Yeah. So, well, I guess it wasn't. I paid the sales tax, so it was like a $600 car,
right?
Which is fine. So there's a decent amount of dollars between here and like what it would cost to buy another car,
especially now as opposed to a year ago.
Right.
Well, listen, we know, Dan. Do you get any kind of like friends Tesla discount, like refer a friend, get $50 off or something?
Oh, they actually do push that really hard, but it's not a discount. It's you get free charging miles at the chargers.
Hey, that's a deal?
Well, it's something, right? It's like, but how much is, I don't know. It's hard to even quantify that because they put the price in like kilowatt hours and I don't know. I'm sure it's
a scam.
It's 100,000 free miles. It's like, yeah, okay, like 300 miles per charge divided by 100,000. That's not that many. Whatever it is, 18 cents per kilowatt hour at the fancy chargers. It's not that much.
But think about it, Dan. You can finally take that around the earth driving trip you've been wanting to do so bad, and you could do it for free.
That's crazy because I had a coworker who has one of these, and I was like, because I also get the 100,000 free miles as a purchaser, so everybody wins. And so I got that, and I used it very quickly. Now what? Maybe I'm wrong because 100,000 miles, like, we don't have 100,000 miles on the car. So it's like, what is
Dan, if you already put 100,000 miles on your car, I'd be very concerned.
Maybe it's 1,000 miles.
That is way more plausible.
Yeah,
100,000 does sound like a lot.
I'm gonna research this and get back to you. But anyways, yeah, Colby, if you're gonna join the Elon train and you want, it's 500 miles. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Oh,
okay.
geez.
Yeah. All right. That's like a trip
maybe
to the grocery
it was 1,000
store
when I did it. I think it was 1,000 when I did it. But still, yeah.
I'm thinking Colby, trendsetter. He's got to get the Cybertruck. I think with the obnoxiously massive windshield wiper.
Yeah.
Yes.
Street park that in Boston. Yeah.
Impressive.
Now, did I talk about my neighbor's Rivian on this in this show, or okay,
the one that's never been driven?
Breaking news that was driven the other day.
Oh my God.
I saw it. I was out for a walk and I saw it on its way back, and it pulled in, and I was like, I don't know if I mentioned this at the time. I was like, there's no way, because I remember when I walked past it once, I noticed that it still had the paper temporary plates, and it said it was like, a valid until May 9th, 2023. It's like, I bet that they only drove it to go to the DMV, get the new plates, and came back. And sure enough, it now has real plates, and it has not left since then. So I could put in a word for you, Colby. Talk to him. Do a little cross country.
Maybe if you want to buy it, very low miles,
yeah. Like 56 miles or something like that.
Wow. Yeah, I don't know. I truly don't know what. I just have, they said they would call today and they didn't, as you
classic
would expect. So
it does still feel like, having recently bought a car, I think 5 years from now is going to be a much better time to buy a car than right now. But then again, if you need a car, you need a car. But then again, it sounds like maybe you don't need a car. But then again, maybe you do. So that is what I would think about.
Yeah. Need is a strong word. Like, I definitely don't need a car.
Who needs anything? All we need is food,
water,
sleep.
That's Dan. When you put it that way, right. You're really convincing me.
I live my life every day without a car. Even in the world where I have a car, I rarely take the car anywhere on a daily basis. Right, the car is for like going to my parents or going, leaving the city.
Yeah.
Like for traveling around, like we don't use the car for commuting or doing chores or anything.
Colby, I got it. I've already picked you out a car. Are you ready?
Did you? Oh,
I have my pick too, but you go first, Sean.
Okay, this is great. Let's shop for Colby. All right, let me share the tab here. Colby, I went on eBay. It's in New York, but it's not far from where you live. This 2006 Chrysler PT Cruiser convertible.
Oh, baby.
100,000 miles in the classic PT Cruiser Silver, just $5,000. A bargain. It's turbo. Well, it has a turbocharged badge. Now, is it actually turbocharged? I'm suspicious. And it's manual, apparently. Ooh. So I hope you know how to drive manual.
I don't, but for a car like that.
I mean, this thing is really incredible.
If
this one has all the toys.
If it had the like faux wood panel doors,
I looked. There would it surprise you to learn there are not many PT Cruisers still for sale? No. Because I immediately went for that, and that was a stretch. Even finding that.
How do I share a tab? It says share screen, share presentation.
You want to share screen, and then it will let you choose to share which tab.
Okay, here we go. Here's my pick, Colby. It's going to be a bit more expensive.
Yeah, the Baja. Let's go.
This, it's practical. It's stylish. It's available in the Boston area. You're going to be spending some time out in the countryside. You're going to be hauling
Yeah.
some stuff, but
It's
you still
all-wheel
want
drive.
and you still want to be able to go into the city and street park this bad boy. No problem.
I mean, nothing screams New England like Subaru.
Exactly.
That's
Free
true.
C Mall.
Oh, this thing is sexy, man. Look at that. All-wheel drive. It's got the roof rack. You can put all your skis up there.
All my Zero skis.
All of them.
All of them. And just 97,000 miles.
Also manual, so I
Also-
think you should probably start practicing.
Yeah, not a lot of choices for you, but
Oh man.
I mean, Colby, let's be real for a second here. What is your dream car? What car do you want? Like let's say you could get any car. What car do you want?
You know, I've never thought about this question.
Wow.
I truly don't know.
You could find the old Colby Jeep and get it like restored and be reliving your glory days.
What vehicle was that? What year was that?
It was a 1999 Ford Explorer Sport, which was the two-door.
Oh, was it a Jeep? In my head, it is absolutely a Jeep. But no, you're right. Now that you say it, yeah.
There is not a single one for sale on eBay. I can tell you that.
Wow.
Thank God.
I
It's
don't-
probably for the best.
I think at this point it's literally considered an antique.
Isn't it like 20 years or something, right?
Yeah. My sister has a 2005 Chevy, whatever the SUV was called at the time. And she still drives it, and it's 2 years away from being an antique.
It's 25 years in Massachusetts.
25. Okay. It's close. Whatever year it is, it's very close.
Hey, this Subaru Baja,
Oh,
2005.
here's some.
Yeah.
I found a bunch of... Oh, you can get... Look at this, Colby. A 1999 Ford Explorer Eddie Bauer edition.
Wow. Drive that bad boy up to Maine.
173,000 miles.
Well loved.
Very ragged leather seats, all yours for $4,000. It has a sunroof, $4,000.
$4,000.
That's it. Oh, they have some sports, although it just says accepting offers. There's no price. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. Oh, here's a sport in red.
Ooh.
5,000, Norfolk, Virginia. 174,000.
How much does a
miles.
red car affect your insurance rates if it's also 25 years old?
I
Or more
would
in
be
this
shocked
case.
if. And by the way, there are no pictures of the interior, so
That's just as expensive as the car that you picked out, Sean.
as a 2006 PT Cruiser. So these things hold their value.
Jeez.
That's so weird. I want to see the floor on the driver's
Let's click on this one where the leading shot is of the odometer.
They didn't even clean it.
Yeah, if there's one thing I've learned from looking at houses, when the first shot is of the interior, you know it's going to be bad.
Yeah, this thing has really seen better days. Oh my God, Colby, it's perfect for you. It's missing part of the bumper.
Oh yeah. Nice.
Yeah.
$0?
Yeah, zero. They're giving it away. A bargain at any price. Oh, look at this one. This one's is that the actual vehicle? That's the actual vehicle. You can buy it. It's got Integrity Automotive.
God.
It's a modified Ford Explorer. They cut the top off of it.
Nothing screams integrity like a modified 1999 Ford Explorer.
Nearly 200,000 miles on this bad boy. That's
integrity right there. 200,000 miles.
Oh my God. You guys are missing out if you're not seeing the video version. Anyway, Colby, please do come back with an update on your vehicle. I have to be honest, unfortunately, even though I'm your friend, I'm kind of rooting for it to die so we can convince you to buy something very stupid.
Yeah.
But that's what friends are for.
You could become a motorcycle guy. Get one of the sidecars. That would be easy to street park.
Moped. That's true. It would be easy to street park. You just like park it between cars. That's what
and then detach the sidecar, bring it inside, put it in the bike storage area.
And perfect. Right next to the washing machine. Oh man. Honestly, like the number to fix the car is like pretty high. Just because it would cost so much money to get another car. But
that is true.
That's not something insurance covers, right? If your car just breaks.
Unfortunately, no. No, that's why they have all the money and we don't.
Damn it. Why are we paying them? I don't understand.
It's a great racket. You're forced to.
Right. Legally obliged.
Yep.
But anyways, that's me. In any case, the moral of the story is I really hope my stuff stops breaking.
Yeah.
Because I don't have extra money.
That would be nice.
It was not in the plan.
I would agree. Well, guys, what doesn't break? Or hang on. Scrap that. Rewind it. Guys, what's always breaking? News. And I want to talk today. Sorry, I didn't think about that before I started talking. News, and we have a very small amount of news in the rundown, but we have Google announcing a whole bunch of stuff in I/O, and then this weird free TV thing that came out today that's pretty interesting. So, not a lot of choices, but you're welcome to make one.
I haven't heard anything about the free TV thing, but then I do have a AI story I'll add to the list while you bring this up.
All right, listen, I'll do the free TV thing here quickly. It's a new company called Telly, created by a Pluto TV co-founder, and it's free, guys, 100% free. What's unique about it? Well, a couple things. One, it's a TV, a 55-inch 4K HDR panel, and there's a second screen below it separated by a sound bar, and that lower screen's going to have widgets. They'll show you sports scores, a new ticker, the weather, stock prices, etc. It's pretty cool. The only thing is there's a reason why it's free, because it's chock full of ads, including on that lower screen, a constant ad will be shown in the corner of it. In addition, at times while you're using it, or I should say at times when you're not watching something and the TV is off, it sometimes will just turn on and show you ads.
Nice.
It doesn't support third-party streaming apps, but it does come bundled with a free 4K TV dongle. It also has a soundbar built in, so that's pretty cool. Let's see.
I love its advanced sensors, which I would totally trust in something like this. Microarray, motion sensor, HD camera.
Oh, heck yeah.
Yeah, so basically, they say they may collect information about the audio and video content you watch, the channels you view, the duration of your viewing sessions, how you interact, search queries, buttons you select, the physical presence of you or any other individuals using the TV at a given time. Here is the twist. It's only free if you opt in to all of these ads and the ad tracking. If you decline it, or there's actually a list of stipulations, including the TV has to remain connected to the internet, you cannot mess with it, it has to be the primary TV in your home, and if not, they keep your credit card on file and will charge you the $500 for the TV should you not do any of those things for the time in which you have it.
Nice. How is this being sold? Is it like direct to consumer only?
Yeah, right. It's a startup. So right now, the first 500,000 free TVs will start shipping later this summer. You can reserve one on their website, freetelly.com.
Yeah, because I was talking about this weekend to Lena. I forget what we were. It must have been something at Home Depot. Where she was like, "Oh yeah, it's the Home Depot brand of grills, the Next Grill." And I was like, "Yeah, those suck." And she's like, "Why do they have so many of them? Like, people must be buying them." I was like, "Well, yeah, it's like there's a whole class of people who their only purchasing criteria is which one is the cheapest. And so if these people could get their TVs in Target or CVS or something, that could work. Although it does strike me as a business, like a very 2021 business, and I'm surprised that they're able to pull this off in 2023. Requires a lot of money to make TVs and give them away for free, and a lot of time, I have to imagine, to recoup the $500 activation cost with the advertisers.
Right.
I have to imagine.
Well, it is interesting. I mean, you look at how the ads are being displayed, and it's pretty in your face. I mean, to basically the ability to have a billboard in anyone's living room. What's that worth to an advertiser? Apparently, they think a lot. And it is one thing. I mean, if you look at Vizio, Roku, LG, Samsung, all these guys, they're all tracking and selling your use activity anyway. At least you're getting a free TV out of this one.
That's true.
Now, how long before someone, jailbreaks the TV and figures out how to install their own firmware on it?
Well, that was the other thing I wanted to talk about. I think it's a cool looking TV. Like, I would see, like, if they could really make decent software for that bottom second panel, and on the Telly website, they have a couple of examples where one is a Zoom call you can do with the built-in camera, and then that bottom screen shows the other participants. Like, if you can create cool second screen experiences, like, this is a TV I would be interested in buying.
This is built for you. You're always watching 3 things at the same time.
It sounds stupid, but like, if the tweets were going by while I was watching something, I'd never leave. So I'm curious to, if they would ever actually just straight up sell it. It's kind of cool. I would love, or even imagine the TV's off, but the bottom screen stays on and is always pumping out information. I don't know. I just thought that was more interesting than the free shit. Like, I'm not surprised someone thought of the idea of giving away a free TV for ads. That's Amazon's been giving away free Amazon tablets with ads, Will you guys get a free telly?
Or I don't know, maybe the third thing that's going to break it life is my television.
Colby's going to be so broke from buying his new car, he's going to have no choice but to get a telly.
No, not
that's when Colby's life is. That's when we get really worried. Buddy, do you need help? Do you need some spare dollars when he's getting the telly? Oh no.
Honestly, my TV is about the same age as that car, so woof.
Yeah, you're getting there.
Not 2014s.
Wow,
cutting edge. Not like the telly.
I love that TV. It's great.
Is that a 3D TV? Am I remembering that correctly?
It is a 3D TV. I don't know that I have the 3D glasses anymore. But as a regular TV, it's functioning just fine.
Those 2 dimensions like a champ.
Right. It's a plasma TV.
That's cool.
It's great. That episode that everyone of Game of Thrones, where everyone was complaining they couldn't see it, could see it just fine. It looks awesome.
That was 4 years ago.
Oh my god!
The finale of Game of Thrones aired 4 years ago yesterday.
So unacceptable.
Wow. It feels like just yesterday.
Yeah.
That we are all crushed with disappointment.
Yes, sir. All right. Well, Dan, you said you had an AI story you wanted to share?
Yeah, I thought this was, there's all this AI optimism going on in the news and in the industry, and I thought this story was interesting. It's a story from a while ago, actually, November 2022, which is a while ago in AI news. But I think it's a good illustration of something. I've seen talks about this stuff going back many years, where AI today, even today, is only really good at pretending to be intelligent. And if you can ever put it in certain situations, it'll go from being super intelligent to the stupidest thing you've ever seen. And basically, I don't understand really how to play Go. But you win, you like take pieces off the board by surrounding them with your pieces. And for this, Go AI, the one that beat, the best Go player in the world and is undefeated for many years, if you surround their pieces, but then don't fully surround it, don't make the obvious move, which is obviously you should place this final stone and remove the piece, it breaks the AI. So it's you're doing something so stupid that I can't possibly, it just breaks the pattern recognition. And any human player would be okay. It's playing chess and never taking any pieces and just moving your pieces around. You would just get annihilated. But the AI doesn't know how to play Go. It just knows how to make patterns that match the thing that's been trained to do. So anyways, this is cool Ars Technica article about this. And we've talked about this before. It's similar to how someone makes an AI that detects guns, and you change one pixel in the photo that has a gun in it, and then the AI thinks it's a frog or whatever. It's like very easy to make these things seem very easy to reveal these things to be as stupid as they actually are.
Well, speaking of things that are stupid, we can touch on Google's announcements from the other day.
AI,
Yeah, they announced many things. We can start on the AI front. A bunch of things coming out of their search labs, so basically stuff they're testing, including a search generative experience, or SGE, which is automatically generated overviews, exploration pointers, and follow-ups during your search. They also have code tips that will offer programming snippets and advice. They also expanded Bard, which is their chat bot.
I kept seeing Bard around, and I really, for like several days, I kept misreading it as Brad. Like, I thought it was Google Brad.
I kind of like that better.
Sup?
It's me, Google Brad. So I love that.
Bard. Ugh.
Yeah, not better. But as part of the announcement, Bard is getting a few updates as well. Why is it? Where did it? This article. What happened to my article? What's this website doing? Jesus, it's just cycling through pages automatically. That's weird. No, this isn't even the right. Why is it? God damn, hang on. Jesus Christ. Something's going very wrong. Bard is going to include a new language, Palm 2. You're going to be able to include images in your query. It'll also integrate with Google Apps like Docs and Gmail, and partner products like Adobe Firefly, which will turn your ideas into images. It's also dropping the waitlist.
What do you mean a new language, Palm 2? What's that?
Okay. Google unveiled
is this
Palm
a new
2
language model?
It is an AI language model that will power Bard. They say it's faster and more efficient and can run locally on mobile devices. It's also more adept at handling multiple languages and can generate JavaScript and Python, which means we don't need you guys anymore. So sorry, you've been replaced.
See the previous story.
They also added AI to many of their apps. Photos is getting a magic editor where you can just move objects, replace the sky, add stuff. It's pretty wild if you've seen the demo. They're also adding it to their workspace apps through Gmail on mobile will help you write messages. Slides will create background images using text descriptions, etc., etc. So,
what was I going to say about this? I would love to see a scorecard of all of the things announced at Google I/O and then what percentage of them have ever actually been released. Can we ask Google to make a reservation at any arbitrary restaurant, and then they will call that restaurant and make the reservation on your behalf?
No, they shut that down. It did exist at one point. You could do it.
Really? Anyone could do it?
I think it opened to the public for like a month, and then they shut it down. Jeez. But I'm pretty sure it was. Yeah, it was not long. Definitely not. But they did, the ChatGPT guys announced plugins for ChatGPT. I know it's not in the rundown. They have their own plugins, including it can now actually connect to the internet and search, which was one of the issues, which is terrifying. But also there's apps like OpenTable and others that are plugged into it, and the AI can book flights and make reservations and do all that kind of nonsense that these companies always are claiming that you can do. I swear, OpenTable, I don't think actually exists. I think it's a fake company made up to make tech products seem cool because they integrate with it.
Oh, they exist. Yeah.
Unfortunately.
I've worked at a competitor. They were very protective.
And well integrated.
Yeah. Well integrated and very... they had a very large moat, as the tech MBAs would say.
And now you don't work at that competitor anymore.
No, it's true. They lost, but they would just hold your data hostage and be like, well, if you want to know who your customers are, you're just going to have to keep paying us, which is a compelling argument to make to any business. Yeah.
Wow. one of the other things in the article I did want to touch on was the Fold, Google's first foldable phone. Directly from the folks at Google, the Pixel Fold. It has a 5.8-inch exterior screen, and then it doubles up when you open it. If you see it side by side with Samsung's Galaxy Fold, you'll notice it's less vertical and more wide. It'll come out at a price of $1,800, and it has a whole bunch of different features that I won't go through. It's a folding phone. 7.6 inches when open.
Wow.
I think it's much more compelling than Samsung's.
Totally.
For whatever it's worth. I don't know. I don't know. There's still something about folding phones that interests me. This one's thinner. The dimensions make a little more sense. It folds flat. It seems like a more refined product.
Maybe this is the one for you, Sean.
I've actually, I don't think I've ever said interest in switching to Android, but why not now? After a decade of using iPhones. But it's interesting. If it weren't $1,800, I would probably be more interested, especially on the same day when they announced the, what was it, the 7A phone, which is a great phone at $500. So,
darn.
But still interesting. Any other thoughts on Google here, gentlemen, or anything you'd like to talk about?
I like the speaker dock for the tablet thing. I think that's cool.
Yeah, it's interesting. People, it's the Pixel tablet, 11-inch smart display, and it sits on a speaker dock to serve as a Google Assistant hub and Chromecast device, but it attaches to be used as a tablet. Available for pre-order at $499. There have been rumors for so many years about Apple strapping an iPad to a HomePod. And I wonder if it could look something like this, where it is an actual iPad and you can pull it off and use it as an iPad. Would that, as a HomePod owner, would that interest you?
Maybe. I definitely think the HomePod would be better with a screen. It'd be great if it could be any iPad, so I could put my crappy old iPad on it instead of getting a new iPad.
That's true. That's true. But Apple wouldn't want you to do that. They like the new stuff.
No, of course not.
God bless them. Well, why don't we chug on over to picks? It's the part of the show where each of us brings something we want to share with the world. Dan, do you have a pick this week? It's okay to say no.
Get Ethernet.
Get Ethernet. How about this? I'm going to write Ethernet, but I'll also, on the website, I will post this Ars Technica article as your pick. So if people want to go read it, they can go check it out. It seemed interesting. I will go read it later because I am curious. So check that out. I will go before Colby because I say so. Guys, pens. Do you have a certain pen you like? Not. You guys are on the computer. Do you even use pens?
I use a pen once. I only use a pen when filling out forms returning to the United States. It's typically the only time I use a pen.
I like the pens from Muji, that store. They have good pens. They're almost like gel pens, but they're not. But they kind of write like gel pens. They've got a nice feel to them.
Colby, you are going to love my pick if that's the case, because that's what I like about these. I use an insane amount of pens, a lot of red pen as well, because I'm usually correcting write-ups and designs and all kinds of things like that. I go through an insane amount of pens. I've recently been turned on to the Sharpie S-Gel medium point pens. I've linked to the red one here, but they come in all the usual black, blue, all the usual colors. And what I like about them is, A, they're priced pretty decently. I mean, it's a mass market pen. You can get them in stores. But what's great about the S-Gel is it is technically a gel pen, but no smear, no bleed, and it really writes super, super smooth, but dries quickly and doesn't look fully like a gel pen. It's I would argue, a very professional version of a gel pen. And they're available everywhere, so they're not hard to get. So if you're looking to try a new pen, I recommend get yourself a box of these Sharpie S gels. I use the medium point, and like I said, the red is my favorite. I basically write on everything in it because I'm usually writing on top of things written in black. So
Nice.
Check that out. And Colby, what about you?
Nice. My pick is my air conditioner, which I just put in the window. I got one of these last year. It's one of the weird, like, U-shaped air conditioners where, like, your window close it. Like, there's a gap in the middle, and you, like, close your window through the air conditioner. And it's pretty, like, quiet because the loud part is on the outside of the window. I got one last year, and it was, like, pretty good. So, like, we had another old air conditioner in the other room. So I got another one. It still seems pretty good. I don't know. I don't know how long they're gonna last, but it like so far for 1 year, it was a pretty good air conditioner. Like a teensy bit expensive, but quieter than most air conditioners. It comes with a bracket, which is nice, but it comes with a bracket, and you have to use the bracket to install it, which is annoying. But you might need a drill to install it. Is the point. But it's worthwhile.
Need those homeowner skills.
Right. You have to do some like light drilling. I also never have enough foam. I always decide to install the air conditioners and then remember that I didn't buy any new foam this year. So I have to go buy some foam. But
that's awesome. Now, I know one of the things with this particular style is that you're able to open up the window while it's installed. Do you find yourself doing that?
No.
Okay. That was always my thought, because I thought about getting one, and I'm like, but would I open the window?
Right. So the thing is, like, yes, this goes back to our discussion earlier. Yes, you can open the window, but you can't close the screen. So, like, I don't know.
Not necessary.
Right.
And what I do is I run my air conditioner as a fan. So even if I'm not using, then I don't have to open the window. It's still blowing the air, but not running the air conditioner. So
it does have fan mode, and it has like eco auto mode where I think it will shut off the AC and just do the fan if it's like cold outside.
Yeah, maybe I'll pick mine in a couple weeks. The LG I bought last year. I bought 2 of them, and they're the best I've ever owned. Quiet. Yeah, the eco mode's fantastic. Cost is like really reasonable to run.
Nice.
And I just set the temperature, run it on eco, and it just handles itself. So, but this is great. Yeah, check it out. It's the Medea, not the Tyler Perry movie. No, it's an air conditioner. Check that out. Sorry, I couldn't resist. Good picks all around, guys. Anything else you'd like to say or do this evening? No, it's crickets. Crickets from these guys.
Got what I wanted to get out.
There's nothing left to be said, except people should check out our sister show over at Up for Debate. Guys, we're still playing text-based adventure games. And we still didn't finish this week, so next week we're going to do it again. We're still playing Dream Daddy. It is a ton of fun. In the episode put up on the feed not too long ago, part 2, we go to a barbecue with all the dads, and we pick a dad and start dating that dad. Hopefully this week we'll fall madly in love. It's an absolute hoot with Matt and I. Check out the video version on YouTube. You can actually watch the game as we're playing it.
Don't you mean dadly in love?
Dadly in love. Well, Matt coined "Don't Date Daddy," which was there was that one. There was another. He was on a roll the other night. He was doing great. Yeah. No, I'm gonna be so excited when this thing is finally over. We're canceling March Madness next year. He had He had so many months this year. He's done for a couple of years. I can't do it. But yes, upfordebate.tv or wherever you get podcasts, check that out. This show is don'tpanic.io. Go to that great website, get the audio, the video, and links to all the picks will be there. And, I don't brag about this enough. We're live Monday nights, 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific on our YouTube, Twitch, and Facebook, all simulcasts. So subscribe to one or all of those, and you can watch along with the show. Of course, subscribe wherever you get podcasts. Look for that big red button, and you can get a hold of us, upfordebatetv@gmail.com, or tweet at us at upfor Debate TV. No, Don't Panic Show at gmail.com, and Don't Panic show at Gmail at Twitter. I don't even know anymore. It's Monday. What do you want from me? We're going to wrap it up here before my brain falls out of my ears. On behalf of Colby and Dan, I'm Sean. We appreciate you being here. We're going to see you next time for even more great tech discussion and home improvement tips on another Don't Panic.